Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. AMC Stock just reported earnings on Friday, and it was actually a red day. Now, is this common with AMC? Like, is this a frequent occurrence for AMC to report better than expected earnings and the stock to actually fall? Well, yes. We'll talk about it here in this video, and it is very bullish. Now, I don't want to come off as a permabull with AMC. Yes, their earnings were good. They were better than expected, but they still are losing a lot of money. But what we have seen with history of this trade, as you guys know, I have been covering this trade from literally day one, and you've seen this play out multiple times. And I don't think it's a wild assumption to imagine it's going to play out somewhat the same this time around. After all, history does not always repeat, but it usually does rhyme. Very famous saying and quote there. And I think it holds a lot of merit to what is currently happening with AMC stock. Now, as you guys do know, the big catalyst for AMC is not earnings. Let's be real here. It's not earnings. You are facing possible dilution on a scale that you have never seen before. So anything that delays that or makes that unlikely or flat out says that's not going to happen is going to be the thing that really drives this home. Now, shorts covering in the meantime, that can definitely have a bullish effect on AMC. Shorts hedging out their short positions because they are massively over leveraged in AMC also can have a bullish effect. And I think that is what will continue to happen after earnings. Let's be real with ourselves. It's been happening. Shorts have been underwater on these trades for a while now. This is not a thing that just happened overnight or over the last couple of days. They've been losing on these positions. And I think ultimately we're about to get a big upside move still. And keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not your dad. I'm not your cousin, not your uncle, not your grandpa, not your grandma, not your mama, not your kid. None of that. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me if you don't want to. We like to talk about the facts here. The data and the facts. I think that's what ultimately should drive every one of your guys' investment decision. And the facts are pretty clear here in this case with AMC stock, no pun intended, in regards to the court date that we're waiting on an update for. So we're going to get into this situation. I'm going to give you guys an update on the current data with AMC stock since today is Saturday. Markets are obviously closed, and AMC's data has been able to get a little bit more refined after the close on Friday, which again was AMC earnings. So let's get into it, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. You guys know the deal there. If you also want to come trade with me live in real time, link down below in the description of this video as well. We would love to have you over there. But nonetheless, in the meantime, AMC earnings. This is what the headline of this article says. Update 2. AMC earnings, a hit on Wall Street as Ant-Man attracts more moviegoers. That headline would suggest the price of AMC would have been a little bit more bullish on Friday. At least in my opinion. I mean, AMC's earnings are a hit. Well, why is the share price actually falling? And I think there's a lot of interesting dynamics happening with AMC. On one hand, there's a lot of shorts that are in this trade that would otherwise not be in this trade if it was not for this arbitrage trade, this court date. We're waiting for updates. In the meantime, some shorts are hedging out their short positions, but history shows that a lot of the times after earnings, the subsequent day, 2-3 days after earnings, you can be pretty red with AMC. You tend to rally about a week after earnings typically. So, I mean, this time around it might be a little bit different. Today was a stronger day than what you typically see the day after earnings, right? The day after earnings to see AMC down like 8% is not uncommon. And that actually happens more times than not. So today was actually a more bullish day than what we get historically with AMC. But let's get into this article a little bit. So It says the company in its earnings report also signaled a boost to its current quarter from the release of much awaited The Super Mario Bros. Movie and said it expected The Little Mermaid, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse to be a box office driver for the remainder of the year. Quote, the first quarter North American box office easily surpassed 2022 by some 29%, totaling more than $1.7 billion. CEO Adam Aron said, adding that the European market showed strong recovery to reach pre-pandemic levels compared with the United States. Then it goes on to say that Cinemark also posted 33% rise in first quarter revenue earlier in the day. AMC's revenue for the quarter was $954.4 million, compared with analysts' expectations of $948.5 million, according to Renoviv. So, beat a little bit there, and there's different estimates, so keep this in mind. Some estimates were for $938 million of revenue. Some estimates were Renoviv was higher, $948.5 million, but AMC blew all of that out the park here. Now, the problem is the loss. Now, the loss per share, the EPS, was negative 17 cents. But if you factor out the one-time expenses, which could be interest payments, it could be, deferred rents, it could be cost of starting the credit card business or the popcorn business. Maybe they had to lease out a factory, right? That cost $20 million. There's a lot of different one-time costs that could come in a quarter. The EPS was actually negative 13 cents. So your loss was more like 170 million. This was actually the second quarter in a row that AMC had positive EBITDA. Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization is what EBITDA stands for. So not quite free cash flow, but getting closer to free cash flow and a sustainable business model. Now, AMC stock was not rewarded very much for this in the trading day on Friday. AMC stock was down about 0.5% in regular trading, down 0.34% here and after hours. Now, you kind of formed a hammer candlestick here. It's not as definitive as what we've seen back here on April 24th. And we've talked about this, and the stock has rallied 30+% since this day. And we've literally been talking about this and calling this out, so it's not like it's new information. AMC stock has rallied quite a bit recently. We've been in options trades with AMC stock, and we have taken full advantage of that. Link down below in the description of this video for the trading community. If you guys want to be a part of that, we're hitting some nice trades over there. Nonetheless, that is neither here or there. AMC stock was red after it reported earnings. Now, how does this fare with other times? Well, last earnings, not a great example. AMC rallied into their last earnings, sold off after earnings, and never really recovered. The day after earnings in November, AMC stock was down 7.65%. The day after earnings, August 4th, the stock actually rallied 8% and then fell 6%. 2 days after earnings. The day after earnings back here in May, when AMC stock also rallied, the stock was down over 6%. And then the following day, you were down even more than that, right? So you do tend to fall after earnings. The subsequent day or two after earnings is pretty common. And then what is common with AMC about 80% of the time is AMC will rally. So the point of earnings and the day after earnings is usually the lows of a rally cycle, meaning that, potentially Monday or Tuesday could mark a low, and then you could start to rally from there. And considering AMC stock is on a pretty decent upside trajectory right now, to see the stock trade sideways for a day or two and then continue the rally higher is kind of my base case scenario, kind of what I am expecting as of right now. Now, if we do go ahead and take a look at the Ortex data for AMC stock and get you guys caught up to date with the latest, let's go ahead. Oh, we do have what is this? We do have Another filing from Intera Capital. Look at this. A put option. They got puts, the $6 puts for June 16th. They bought 637,000 shares worth. Then they did go ahead and buy more $6 puts for June 16th. 1.3 million shares worth. I wonder if that is just a hedging strategy or if they are really buying a lot of puts on AMC because they think the stock's going to go down. We'll talk about that in the next video a little bit more. But if we look at the current situation with AMC stock and go over the overview of the short interest here in Ortex, $773 million is currently sold short in AMC. 25.29% estimated short interest of free float. Free float out on loan at about 33%. 170.4 million shares that are currently out on loan. Days to cover at 4.88. Cost to borrow over the last 3 months, around 228.86%. So very, very high here. And 100% share utilization. If we also go ahead and take a look at the current estimates, the live short interest, the amount of shares currently estimated to be sold short, is 130.27 million. Cost of our average, 334%. Cost of our max, 339%. Cost of our minimum, 269%. The option activity for the day today, 3% positive order value, 58 orders, totaling $23.69 million. So another very bearish day with AMC options. And you do tend to see that. I mean, that's very common. That's kind of where we are over the last couple of weeks, is like 3% positive order value. So I don't think that really tells you too much in and of itself. But I don't always think history repeats itself, but I think it tends to rhyme. And the rhyme and rhythm that you have seen with AMC is pretty distinct. And there's not really too many other stocks that I can look at and see a definitive pattern that happens after earnings. And it's usually this: AMC stock is red the day after earnings. The day of earnings is red. And then you tend to bottom out 1 to 2 days after earnings, and then you tend to rally. And I think this time is no different. Now, like we said earlier in the video, you have the court case to contend with. The judge said she is open to wrapping this up by the end of June, meaning that any decision from the special mastery or recommendation from the judge, whether to have a revote, whether this was, maybe illegal, whether this just shouldn't be implemented. I mean, those decisions and recommendations are going to come in the month of May. So I don't think people are fully prepared for that. That news is going to hit one day and the stock's going to rip to the moon, or it's going to fall quite a bit. So I think that's the next big catalyst that we have on our plates. But I think earnings, the typical reaction, tends to be 50 to 150% positive. And I still, geez, dude, I still have my trades on AMC. Like, I did not sell out today because AMC was red. I actually somewhat expected it to be red. I did expect a 10 to 15% upside move was my base case, because I thought AMC would beat and I thought things would be good. But your worst case scenario was a 10% drop. The best case scenario I had for AMC was like a 50% rally. So I didn't expect it to fall a whole lot. But hey, is there a chance it was red? Yes, and it was red here today. Should reverse itself in this next upcoming week. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comment section. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Do you have trades? What trades do you have? Where do you think AMC stock is going to go from here? Let me know that down below in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.